Alright, good morning, period 11. I hope that we all are well today. Before we begin our lesson today, of course, we know the way that our lessons always go. What are Miss Smith's 3 rules for her classroom? Be respectful, participate, and take responsibility. Good. Now on the right side of the board, Miss Smith has 3 sentences, written. Can I have a read for my 3 sentences? Good. So if anyone that can tell me what our first sentence means, the classroom was a zoo. It was wild. What else can we concur? Loud, noisy, or maybe what? Messy. Good, and maybe messy as well. Good. Second sentence, the backpack weighs a ton. Heavy. It is heavy. Good. Finally, I could sleep forever. Can anyone sleep forever? No, and I said that. Good. So today we are going to learn about figures of speech and the difference between figurative and literal meanings. Now on the left side of the board, you have your headed up board, so you should be able to head up your book with your date, your subject, and your topic. And then on the board as well, we have our objectives. We do not have to write our objectives in our book, since they will remain on the board throughout the entire period for you to know what is expected of you. Now by the end of the lesson, students should be able to recall the types of figurative language that are presented in the PowerPoint. You should be able to define these same types of figurative language presented, and you should be able to identify the correct figurative language during your quiz activity. I'll give it 15 more seconds for heading up purposes before we begin officially with our lesson. Now before we begin, especially with our lesson, there are 2 terms that we have to come to understand before we get into our figures of speech. Now those 2 words are literally and figuratively. Can I have a reader for my literally definition?
Words function exactly as defined.
Good. Literally is when our words function exactly as they are defined. So for example, the car is blue. We have nothing to think about or anything to try to use context clues regarding since they explicitly told us that the car is blue. Next, we have he caught the football. We do not have to figure out if he caught anything else because they told us exactly what he caught. Good. Can I have a reader for my figuratively definition? Good. For figuratively, you're going to figure out what it means. So for example, I've got your back. Ms. Smith has a picture of this sentence, literally. However, we can see that it is very unrealistic since no one can take anyone's back away. Second, we have you're a doll. No one can literally be a doll if they're human, so we can only assume that this will mean that the person is very pretty or they have very soft-like features. You're going to write both definitions for literally and figuratively. If you would like to write the examples as well, you can, but you So the easiest way for us to remember, literally equals definition, and figuratively equals figure out or context clues. This is our first slide we are taking from. So please catch up. We are writing the two definitions. One for literally and one for figuratively. Moving on to the next 30 seconds. Good. So now today we are going to learn about 5 figures of speech. The first figure of speech that we are going to learn about is simile. Can I have a reader for my simile slide?
Comparison of two things using like her eyes. For example, Melody is like a ribbon. She is as sweet as a candy.
Good. We are going to write everything on this slide.